The secret Hollywood didn't want you to know. Hollywood has always sold a dream. From the very beginning, it was built as a place where ordinary people could become extraordinary, where talent, luck, and a single big break could transform a life forever. The world watched as unknown faces turned into global icons, as small roles led to massive fame, and as stories created on screen began shaping reality itself. But behind that dream, there has always been something else, something deeper, something more complex, something that doesn't fit into the polished interviews, the glamorous award shows, or the perfectly edited social media posts. Because while Hollywood shows you the spotlight, it carefully hides the system behind it. And that system is where the real story begins. At the heart of Hollywood lies control, not just over movies and television, but over perception itself. What people believe, what they talk about, what trends, all of it can be influenced. Studios don't just release films, they launch narratives. Publicists don't just manage celebrities, they shape identities. And media coverage doesn't just report stories, it amplifies the ones that serve a purpose. This doesn't mean everything is fake, but it does mean that not everything is as real as it appears. For many newcomers, the journey starts with excitement. Auditions, small roles, networking events, each step feels like progress towards something bigger. But as they move deeper into the industry, they begin to notice patterns. Certain doors open easily for some, while others remain firmly closed. Opportunities sometimes depend less on ability and more on who you know, who supports you, and what you're willing to accept. And this is where the dream begins to shift. Because success in Hollywood often comes with expectations that are never written down, but always understood. There is an unspoken rule: stay in line with the image that's created for you. If you're cast as the charming hero, you're expected to live like one. If you're introduced as the rebellious star, that identity can follow you everywhere. Over time, the line between who a person really is and who they are expected to be starts to blur. And once that line disappears, it's hard to get it back. But image is only part of the story. Another part is silence. There are stories that circulate quietly within the industry, stories about projects that changed direction overnight, about roles that were promised but never delivered, about decisions made in rooms that most people will never enter. These aren't the kinds of stories you see trending online. They don't come with headlines or viral clips. They exist in conversations behind closed doors, and they often stay there. Why? Because speaking out can come with consequences. Hollywood is built on relationships. Directors, producers, studios, and agents all operate within a tightly connected network. If someone gains a reputation for being difficult or uncooperative, it can affect their future opportunities. Even raising questions or challenging decisions can sometimes be seen as a risk. So many choose to stay quiet, not because there's nothing to say, but because saying it might cost everything. Yet, despite this, cracks in the system continue to appear. Every so often, a story breaks through. An interview that feels a little too honest, a behind-the-scenes moment that wasn't meant to be shared, a sudden shift in a celebrity's behavior that fans can't quite explain. These moments don't always reveal the full truth, but they hint at something larger, something that doesn't fully align with the image being presented. And audiences are starting to notice. In today's world, people don't just consume content, they analyze it. They pause videos, read between the lines, and compare what they see with what they hear. A single inconsistency can spark thousands of theories. A small detail can lead to massive speculation. For the first time, the audience isn't just watching the story, they're questioning it. But even as awareness grows, Hollywood remains incredibly powerful. It continues to shape global culture, influence trends, and define what millions of people consider important or valuable. It creates icons, builds narratives, and controls access to one of the most influential platforms in the world: attention. And where attention goes, power follows. This is why the system works so hard to maintain itself, because if the illusion breaks completely, the entire structure could change. Think about it.
If audiences fully understood how decisions are made, how stories are selected, and how images are constructed, would they see Hollywood the same way? Would the magic feel different? Would the connection between star and fan remain as strong? Or would everything start to feel a little less real? These are questions that don't have simple answers, but they are questions worth asking. Because the truth about Hollywood isn't just about celebrities or movies, it's about influence. It's about understanding how narratives are created and how easily perception can be shaped. It's about recognizing that what we see on the surface is often only part of a much larger picture, and that picture is still incomplete. There are still voices that haven't been heard. There are still stories that haven't been told. There are still decisions being made right now that the world may never fully understand. And yet, slowly but surely, the gap between illusion and reality is getting smaller. More people are asking questions. More stories are finding their way out. More attention is being paid to what once went unnoticed. And as that continues, one thing becomes clear. The secret Hollywood didn't want you to know isn't just one thing. It's a system built on image, influence, and control. A system that thrives when people believe in the dream without questioning what's behind it. But the moment people start to look deeper, the moment they start to question what they see, that's when the real story begins. So the next time you see a perfect moment on screen, a perfect red carpet appearance, or a headline that seems too dramatic to ignore, pause for a second. Look a little closer. Because beyond the lights, beyond the fame, and beyond the carefully crafted stories, there is always more. And that more is where the truth lives, waiting, hidden, but not invisible forever.